Good morning. My name is Michael Santos, and I wanted to make this very simple video for any individual who is facing charges in federal court. Whether it's a man or a woman, there's more than a 90% chance that that individual is going to face a sentencing hearing at some time. And this past week, we have seen some news and even some high profile people who have pleaded guilty to federal charges. There was an individual, I'm looking at my other screen right now. His name is I think it's Mychal Kendricks. He's he's a linebacker for the Cleveland Browns, or was a linebacker for the Cleveland Browns before he pleaded guilty to charges for insider trading. That is a crime that could result in a substantial prison term. And what's really important for Mr. Kendricks to be doing right now, or for anybody else who's facing a federal charge, is to begin preparing for that sentencing hearing. What I'd like to do is share my screen with you and show you a couple of tools that the individual could access to learn a little bit about the criminal justice system, what steps he can take, and then talk a little bit about how he can put himself in the best possible position to get the earliest possible release, to have the best possible experience while he's in prison, and to come back to society with the highest level of liberty at the soonest possible time. If that's something that an individual wants, then that individual should take the same types of steps that Mr. Kendricks took when he was preparing himself for a career in professional football. He didn't go at it haphazardly, just waiting for something to happen. Rather, he took action by preparing himself. And so I'd just like to give you a couple of resources if you are facing challenges in the criminal justice system. I'd like to give you a couple of resources that you could use to prepare yourself and position yourself for the best possible outcome. So let me look over here and try and share my screen. Right now, fortunately, technology provides us with all of these types of tools. So I'm going to share my screen right here, and then I'm going to kind of walk through it. Here is this is the website where we see the news on ex-Browns linebacker Mychal Kendricks, who pleads guilty to insider trading. It says here that he's facing 25 years in prison. I want to explain a little bit about what that means. An individual who's facing 25 years in prison isn't necessarily going to be going to prison for federal prison. In fact, there's a higher likelihood of him being electing president than him serving 25 years in prison. That's what the statute may hold. The crime itself may have a statute, a series of statutes. One of them may be up to 20 years, and the other one may be up to 5 years. And those two statutes, if they were stacked together, that would be the maximum time. So it's up to 25 years. But the reality is nobody does 25 years in federal prison for insider trading unless the amount of insider trading was really extraordinary and the crime was extremely egregious and there are extenuating circumstances. That's not going to be the case here. As you scroll down on this article, we can see that Kendricks, who has signed a one-year contract with the Browns in June, it says here that he was from an acquaintance to make about $1.2 million. Now, I'm not going to diminish that $1.2 million is quite a bit of money, but that is not the kind of money that's going to result in 25 years in prison. So let's continue reading a little bit more and say, well, we know he is facing some challenges because he's just been sucked into the criminal justice system. That alone can really result in upsetting or leaving an individual unbalanced at the least, because he knows he's going to be going through a criminal justice proceeding. He knows that he is going to be facing a federal judge. He's going to have to work with a defense attorney for the first time. He's probably going to feel as if he's a little bit lost because he doesn't have any place to turn for information on where he can get better guidance on what to do. He is going to get a lot of bad advice, perhaps, from people he knows that has gone into the criminal justice system but didn't necessarily come out successfully. He's going to probably find some bad information online. And what he's really got to do is use his critical thinking skills. He's got to use his intelligence and find some good information that can help him. And so now I want to send him over to some other resources that I think will restore his confidence, give him a higher level of confidence that he can do something better. So let me share the screen, a different screen right now. And what I'd like to share with you is let's see if I could find it here, well, I'm just going to share the entire screen here. So I'll share this screen here. And now I'm going to move into the federal sentencing guidelines table. So let me open this. up. I think you can see it right here. This is the federal sentencing guideline table. And the way that this works is anybody who has been charged with a federal crime, you can see that it is a matrix. And on one end, you have offense level. And on the other end of the matrix, you have criminal history category. Rather, on the column is going to be your offense level. The rows are going to be your criminal history scale. Well, Mr. Kendricks has not been in trouble with the criminal justice system before, or at least I'm going to assume that he hasn't. And so he is going to be in an offense level category of 1, 0, or 1 means 0 or 1 previous experiences with the criminal justice system. His offense level is going to start at a level 6 because it is insider trading. That is the start. Then it is going to be the amount that is alleged to have been the amount of loss. And we don't know that yet. That's generally going to happen during the pre-sentence investigation report. A probation officer is going to make some calculations after they get insight from both the United States Attorney's Office, who investigated the case, and from the perhaps the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they're going to determine the amount of loss. It may very well be 1.25 million. It could be substantially more because I don't know the facts of the case, but it's going to start at an offense level 6. And then based on the amount of loss, they're going to add additional points. So it could be a level, it could be add 3 points, which takes them to a level 9. It could be add, 6 points, which takes them to a level 12 in zone C, or it could be significantly more because it's a lot of money. So let's say it could be 20 points or 14 points, which takes it to a level 20. Whatever you have here in this area here, you see in column A, right? Our column, I guess this would be column B. You have a series, you have a range, and this is the sentencing range. It could, if it's in zone A, that means he's a good candidate for probation. Well, he's not going to be in zone A because we know he's got a 6 to start, but he's got enhancements after that, or rather additional points, so additional levels that they add based on the amount of loss. So it's going to be anywhere from 0 to 6 months, 4 to 10 months, or 8 to 14 months, 12 to 18 months, and you get out of zone Z and you start facing significant amounts of time. And of course, there are securities fraud charges where people, have served 100 months plus, right? Many people in prison are serving significant amounts of time for insider trading. We don't know what Mr. Kendricks' particular case is, but this is a range. And what he should see from this is even if he's a level 18, if he comes in at a level 18 and he's facing 27 to 33 months as a baseline, that's still a substantial spread, right? I mean, that's 6 months of imprisonment that you could be working to get out 6 months earlier. So he should be thinking, if he's got he should be thinking that he is going to have a sentencing range, and he should be thinking about, well, what can I do to position myself for the lowest possible sentence? And this is the case for anybody facing a federal prison term. They should be thinking about what can they do to position themselves for the lowest possible sentence. And one of the resources that we have that our team at Prison Professors has created is all types of information. For one thing, he can come to this website, download a free book, and in that free book, he's going to learn all about the prison system. He is going to be able to learn about how to prepare before sentencing, how to prepare before prison if he goes to prison, how he can, how other people have done so by reading about successful people like Sean Hopwood, one of our partners, who's come out and become a lawyer, or Justin, who's come out and leads the consulting division. He can read these blogs that will really give him insight on what's coming ahead, right? There's a tremendous amount of content here. And the important thing about preparing is to really just educate yourself on, what are the first few weeks like in federal prison? What should you never do while you're in prison? How does the prison system work? And I would recommend that he just spend time learning a little bit here about how the system works and learning about what can he do right now with the time that he has to prepare so that he gets the lowest possible security designation. So he understands the system. What can he do to make sure he gets the best possible outcome at sentencing? And that's the power of storytelling. Well, if he has the resources, he can. If he doesn't have resources, he can access all this information for free. If he wants to have a personal guide, he could reach out to Justin, who leads the consulting division, and he could work very closely with one of Justin, with either Justin himself or somebody on his team. There's a lot of steps that he can take to assess whether, let's see, like I'm going to type something in here he can sit there and read reviews of how Justin and his team have helped other people. So, there's just an abundance of resources that we make available to try and help people get the best possible outcome. We know that some people have resources. We know that other people do not have resources. So obviously, if somebody doesn't have resources, we encourage them to read our website, where we have a lot of free content, as I've just shown you. We encourage them to listen to our podcasts, where they can get free information on people who have gone through it and what they have done to position themselves for the best possible outcome. They can get free information by watching our YouTube videos or scouring our Facebook page, and all that information is going to put them on a better path. If they do have resources and they can afford to hire a personal guide that will walk them through the experience and get the outcome that they really want, then reach out to Justin. His phone number is 818-424-2220. You can see it at the bottom of this screen. And Justin will walk him through on a free consultation and talk a little bit about the services that he provide, and kind of stop that spinning out of control that disrupts life for so many people. Just hearing from individuals who have gone through the system, what worked for them, can be an enormous resource and an enormous benefit. And I do hope that Mr. Kendrick and anybody else that's going through the criminal justice system puts themselves on a pathway for the best possible outcome. And they can absolutely get that by visiting Prison Professors. My name is Mychal Santos. I'm very proud to work with Justin and his team, and I think he does a phenomenal job in helping people, and that's why I give him my 100% endorsement. I'm wishing all of you a great weekend and success. And if you or a loved one is going through the criminal justice system, really encourage you to use the resources at